I'm a little early. Yep. I was just sitting here. So it's like, all right, I'll just go live. But I won't start getting into the good stuff until we hit 7 o'clock, which the good stuff will involve my 22 pages for my trespassing that I received today that I got. I didn't get home till 5:30. So, and then here's the disc that I haven't even watched because there's no, I'll watch it eventually, but there's no rush to watch it. So hello, Shelly and Rita. So we, I won't start reading these pages until we hit 7, since I came on a little early. So, and then people always ask, what is the point of this live? Whenever I do one, no point. The point is, I know a whole lot of stuff is going on. Let me turn the sound off of this. There's been a whole lot going on this last week. Oh, wait. What did Christy just send me? Woohoo! Christy, if you're on here yet, go ahead and share that with our groups. It's Zellner tweeted about Melissa Kaluzinski's case. So that's awesome. But yeah, I went live yesterday to discuss all the bullshit, and then I deleted it. Didn't leave it up because I was just being a meanie, because I know all the spies like to use my videos, as evidenced by this that we will be going over in 5 minutes for my trespassing. So, and yeah, I know for some people this time isn't a good time, but same thing when I do it earlier. That's why I do lives at different times. Sometimes it'll be for me the middle of the day, and then sometimes like it's 7 p.m. my time. So day, night. So this one, like a whole bunch that I do, when I initially scheduled to do this, it was just because it would be an open forum, whatever people wanted to talk about. I was free tonight, and so I could go live. I had a bunch of stuff to do today, so I wasn't sure when I would get home, so what time I could go live. So decided on 7 o'clock. So sorry for those of you around the world that this is the middle of the night for you and you weren't able to attend, but I won't be deleting this one. I'll leave it up because it doesn't matter. No matter what I do, there's spies that are going to report stuff back. But anything I say here, I would say anywhere. Joyce is at the bar. I have to pay my bill and get home. Good. So some people are happy I'm doing it. And yes, we will be talking about trespassing, because when I got home at 5:30, an hour and a half ago, and I checked my mail, I had a package from Manitowoc. So I will read what's in here. The 22 pages, which, I mean, it only cost $9, right? But it cost me $25 to ship the $9.20 money order to them. But a lot of the pages in there are pointless and I didn't need them. So, oh, Pet Cemetery. Yeah, saw that last night. Don't go to the theater to see it. Don't waste your money. And this is coming from, I'm a huge Stephen King fan. Love Pet Cemetery. Read the book twice. I mean, and I've seen the original movie. I don't know how many times. It's not good. I know there's been people raving about it, but it's not good. So wait till it comes on cable or satellite or however you can get it. Don't spend your money at the theater on Pet Cemetery. If you haven't seen the movie Us yet, if you were looking for a creepy movie to go see Us instead. Not scary either. I guess you would say Pet Cemetery was scarier only if you don't know what Pet Cemetery is. Because I did see people in the theater during Pet Cemetery jump at things, but I knew it was coming because I've read the book, and so it wasn't scary to me, but it also just wasn't good. I did not think it was good. Yeah, Kitty says remakes can be hit or miss sometimes. I know. And what's funny to me, again, being a huge Stephen King fan, is a lot of times if Stephen King himself has a hand in doing it, it's cheesy. It's usually the bad actors and everything else. So, but I still watch them and see everything. I really need to get back to reading Stephen King books because the internet has ruined me from reading actual books. Yeah, Jeffrey says the original version is still better. And my favorite Stephen King book, now mind you, I have probably not read any of his new books in the last 10 years. No, probably 7 years, I would say. So I've been a bad Stephen King fan, but it is my favorite. And I know it's so long. That book's over 1,000 pages, and I think I've read it 3 times. Rita, Dumbo looks so good, though. It really does. Yeah, The Stand is good. Oh, Mickey's taking so Rita's taking a granddaughter and Mickey is taking a grandson to see Dumbo. I think it looks really good. It looks really sweet. My son's not a little kid. My son's 25. He had no interest in going to see Pet Cemetery. And so he said, how about Shazam? And I'm like, no, I got to see Pet Cemetery because I was excited for it. But me and one of my friends that was there, the one that was sitting right next to me, we were kind of laughing at things. We were laughing at church. So Church is the name of the cat. For those that don't know. Yeah, Stephen King always makes a cameo in his movies. And he did that before. Why am I blanking on his name now? I am a bad Marvel fan. That the creator of all the Marvel universe that's in there. What is hanging above me above the hummingbird? That's who some people refer to as Window Jesus. It's a Halloween decoration that I leave in my window all year round. That just looks like a man peering out the window to freak people out. Oh my God, Christy, The Conjuring, really? My friend and I, we go to movies a lot. We go on Thursday nights for the new Stanley. Thank you, Kitty. For the new releases. So, I don't know what our next one will be. She already is planning, how do we want to see the Avengers when it comes out? Are we going to see it on IMAX? And then John Wick we'll definitely go see. Thank you, everybody, telling me Stanley. Chris says, love you. Friends over. We'll watch you later. Well, have fun with your friends, Chris. So, all right. We're at 7:02. So while I'm reading this, I won't be answering any questions or anything like that because I'll be looking at this. So just bear with me. But I got my trespassing evidence today. And so the first page, and they've got it all nicely stapled together for me, these 22 pages. And so this is dated December 5th, 2018 at 10:23 hours. I, Deputy Goss, G-O-S-Z, was dispatched to 12415 Cord Q, Two Rivers, to take a report of trespassing. Upon arriving on scene, I met with the caller, Joshua Radant. Radant said he received information from an anonymous source, which is funny that they're saying anonymous source, because on another page, when you have Josh Radant's statement, he names the source, about a female recording a Facebook Live video on his property. The source stated the video was on a Facebook group called MAM Gossip. It should be noted that the video can only be viewed if you are accepted into the private Facebook group. Radant had one of his employees locate the group on Facebook and attempt to join it. A short time later, Radant's employee was accepted into the group. The video was streamed live from Jax West's page. West resides in Lisle, Illinois. As Radant was watching the video, he could see the female was a passenger in a black Ford. My car is blue. And was walking on the property without Radant's permission, which again, there's no trespassing signs there. But during the video, you can see the female walk past Radant's blue hunting trailer. Now I guess we need to go back at the video and see if that hunting trailer is blue, since I said my car is black and my car is blue. And also, and Teresa's car is blue. Is it green? Is it blue? Is it green? And also talk about the hunting trailer. The female also shows and talks about an ATV parked by the trailer belonging to Radant's brother. You can hear the female passenger talk to a male driver. At one point, you can hear the female tell the male to go into the driveway that they went into last time they were here. You can also hear the female say, "Our tire tracks are the only ones here, so no one else has been here." Whatever. Okay. Prior to leaving the scene, I asked Radant what he wanted done reference this incident. He said he wanted a citation for trespassing issued to the suspect if she was found. I then had Radant complete a written statement and statement of non-consent, see attached. I also issued Radant the information of victims of crime in Wisconsin sheet, see attached. At this time, I asked Radant if I could drive through his property to collect some photos of the trailer and ATV, which he allowed me to do. The photos can be found on the MTSO photo database. Once off scene, I responded to the MTSO to further investigate the incident. I conducted a search of West on Facebook with assistance from Detective Oswald. During this search, I was able to locate a page belonging to Jax West. I also confirmed that she lives in Lisle, Illinois, based on her intro on Facebook. During our observance of the Facebook page, we could see that one of the photos on her page showed a female with the name sticker displaying the name Jax on it. It should be noted that this photo did match the female's reflection on the vehicle from the Facebook Live video. Upon further investigation, Detective Oswald and I found out that Jax was short for Jacqueline, and that Jacqueline West lives at blah, blah, blah. After completing an Illinois DOT search for Jacqueline West, we found out that West does own a black Ford. I own a blue Ford. It's on everything that it's a blue Ford. So I don't know where they're getting black Ford. My car is blue, which matches the vehicle shown on the Facebook Live video. This Ford is associated with West at the address in Lisle, Illinois. The video collected from the Facebook Live recording and photos gathered from West's Facebook were uploaded to the MTSO photo database. Based on the information collected, I issued West County Ordinance Citation Number blah blah for unlawful trespass to land, violation of Manitowoc Code Ordinance 6.07. This citation was mailed to the address shown on West Illinois DOT record. No further law enforcement action was taken. And here's Josh Radant's statement. Name, Joshua Robert Radant. Birth date, 11/10/74. Age, 44. Date, 12/5/18. Address, 12415 Highway Q, Two Rivers, Wisconsin. Phone number, blah, blah. Ooh, I should give him a call. Here's his statement. How can I make it so you can see this? Can't. It just because, oh, you can see it for a second. So in his handwriting. Here's what he says. On 12/3/18, which is also not the day I was there, I was contacted by Chuck Avery and his daughter Carla about a trespassing complaint. There was a video on Facebook showing Jax West videotaping live driving through our private property. An employee of mine joined www.facebook.com/groups/MAM-gossip so he could see the video. It does confirm she was clearly trespassing. Well, no, there's no trespassing signs there, and it's two trailers in the middle of the woods at a dead end. So there's nothing clear about trespassing, but I digress. I contacted my attorney 12/5/18, and he advised I call Manitowoc County Sheriff and file trespassing charges. I called Manitowoc County Dispatch immediately following my conversation with attorney Pat DeWayne. The video seems to take place on 12/2 at around 1:30 p.m. And so he signed this at 11:05 a.m. This page is Miranda warning. And then waiver asking if I'm waiving my Miranda rights. Here is Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office summary, which I showed this to the moderators because it then lists Joshua Robert Radant, Stephen Allen Sr. Avery, Brendan Ray Dassey, Teresa Marie Hallback, Jacqueline West, and Charles Earl Avery. So it's like, oh, look, I'm with everybody now listed on here. And Radant is listed as the complainant. And then it says that Stephen Allen Sr. Avery is informational. And so is Brendan and Teresa. They're informational. And then I am the suspect. And then the victim is Radant's business name of Badgerland Aggregates. And then Chuck Avery is the witness. And then arrest number enlists me, but I'm not arrested. And then it gives my address of 1025 South 9th Street, City of Manitowoc, Wisconsin. But then it says type summoned, cited. So that's what that page is. Then the next page is nothing. There's nothing here. It's just, don't know. So, and now this page is the same thing from the first page that I already read. So here it is the second time, you know, just keep those charges of pages coming of things don't need. All right. So now This one says February 5th, 2019 at 15:14 hours, I, Deputy Goss, was reviewing my paperwork associated with this incident. As I was reviewing the county ordinance citation I had issued to Jacqueline West for unlawful trespass to land, I observed an error in the violation date. No, you fucking didn't. You had no clue, because that's the day I was there. And I told them I wasn't there that day. City ordinance citation, blah, 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 showed that the violation occurred on 12/5. After reviewing the statement of Joshua Radant, I found that the violation did not occur on 12/5, but actually occurred on 12/2. I then reviewed the Facebook Live video that was uploaded by Jacqueline West. During the video, you can hear Jacqueline say, "It's Sunday, nothing is open," as they pulled into the quarry off Jumbo Creek Road. Of note, 12/2/18 was a Sunday, which matches Jacqueline's statement of the video along with Joshua's written statement and also the date stamp on the Facebook Live video. Now, this is also from 2/5/19. D.I.L. Ledvina attended traffic court for the week. At this time, a trespassing citation was called for Jacqueline West. At the time of the hearing, West was present, pled not guilty, and subsequently was taken to pretrial by ADA Sarah Belair. I also was present. I did not have any previous knowledge of the citation or this case, other than the narrative on the bottom of the citation. At pretrial, West insisted that she was not present on the property on 12/5, as the citation had indicated. West advised that on 12/5/18, she was at a different location. She produced a thumb drive and a photo to corroborate her statement. West repeatedly stated she was not there, and then they have in parentheses, meaning the Radant property, on 12/5/18. She stated she had been in that area previously and had been down there previously, but not on 12/5/18. The citation was set over for pretrial, so video and photos contained at the MTSO could be reviewed and forwarded to the DA's office. Upon my return to the office, I reviewed the videos downloaded to the MTSO server by Deputy Goss. 3 total videos were downloaded of West's Facebook Live feed. I reviewed the video and recognized the property to be the Radant property, in addition to the Avery property, which I was never on Avery property, and the surrounding area. In listening to the Facebook Live videos, the voice narrating did match the person who was in traffic court earlier today. Ooh, she's such an investigator. She's so good. I also observed the Ford in the video, which matches DOT records to Jacqueline West. Again, but you're saying it matches records, but you keep saying it's black and my car is blue and is registered as blue. There is a reflection in one frame of video number 3 at the approximate 7-minute and 35-second mark, which seems to resemble West. I burned a copy of the videos to DVD for the DA's office, in addition to the photos and video taken from the squad of the property for the ADA's review and upcoming additional pretrial. And so here, next page, God, I'm so bad at this, is Radant's statement again. So I just have to, they're doubling up and sending me everything twice. Here's the Miranda page again, but upside down for some reason. And this is a statement of non-consent, now from Joshua Radant's business. And it says, in Josh Radant's handwriting, I did not give permission to anyone to be on my property at any time. And that's all it says. Doesn't say anything about me. Doesn't say, again, where I was, any of that. That's all that is. So this next page lists nothing. Nothing's on here. This is property type and lists all different kinds of properties. And then down here is if a vehicle is stolen. So has nothing to do with me, but another page for me to pay for. So this page is the thing that they said they had given to Radand, this information for victims of crime in Wisconsin. What was that? No. So I don't need any of that. Page 2 of that. I don't need that either. Here's a picture from my personal Facebook. I thought this was funny. Here's another bunch of pictures from my personal Facebook, and it's got the sweaty sweat. So let's see. And these are old pictures. So it's a picture of sweaty sweat sweat. Then there's a picture of me and JB Pritzker, who is our governor that I campaigned for. This is a picture of me and a bunch of friends when we had gone to a rally of JB Pritzker's that Obama was the keynote speaker at. And this is a picture of my arm at the rally. I don't know. This is a picture of us, me and my friends, outside of the venue of the Obama thing. You can't see any of this. This is a picture of me doing a selfie, which I never ever do, with Obama in the background. This is a picture of Obama and everybody else on stage. And this is a picture of Obama when he came and shook my hand. So I don't know why they, okay. This page, whoops, is my personal Facebook page. So it's got my, cover pic and what my profile picture was on December 1st. And then your intro, your about me, that's on the left side of your Facebook page. This page is the citation I was mailed. This reminds me of Melissa's case. Melissa Kaluzinski, how they screwed her over is by messing with x-rays and darkening them so you can't see anything. And you're really not going to be able to tell much on this, but here's the screenshot of my reflection as they Xerox it. Let me see. Where do I have to go here? Can you see? I'm going the wrong way. There's my face. There's a reflection of me. In my not black but blue car. Summary. Oh, this is that same page I already have. So it's that page again. And this summary page again. So that's all of 22 pages. And then there's this disc, which I don't think I'm even going to watch it because it's the Facebook Live that I did. So to summarize, Carla had her dad call. So it wasn't Earl, even though Earl was threatening me with, I better not be trespassing. But it was Carla. Big shock. So now it will be my turn to tattle to Stephen. Like Carla said to me 6 months ago, I'm going to tell Stephen. Well, I'll make sure Stephen knows, because when I talked to Stephen about this, as I've said in prior videos, he swore it was Josh Radin. He says that Josh Radin is quick to call people who have been on his property all the time. And I said, well, Earl was threatening me. So, you know, and so that was my fight with Manitowoc this whole time too, because in the citation I have, it doesn't tell me who filed the charges and where I was. And so they're like incredulous because again, it's a $200 ticket and they just expect you to pay it. And they're like, oh, you still want to move forward with this? And I'm like, yeah, until I know what this is, I'm not going to just say, yay, here's $200. You know what? Can somebody in Florida say they saw me there on their property? And now if they send me a ticket, I'm just, I don't want to incur the expense to fight it. So you just pay it. That's bullshit. So, while the Rad-Ant property doesn't have anything that says no trespassing, I've told you all that if it was Rad-Ant that filed these charges, then I would pay the ticket because I was on his property without permission, even though it doesn't say no trespassing. I'll pay the ticket. But if it was Earl, he can go fuck himself, and I would fight it as long as I had to. And so even though the only way Rad-Ant even knows I was on his property is because Carla tattled, at the end of the day, it's Rad-Ant who filed. So my court date is next week, but I have the option of just paying the ticket. And that's what I told them when they called me the other day is, well, as soon as, you let me know what the evidence is and who it is, and then I can tell you, because she was saying I don't have to come to court. I would only have to come to court if I had evidence to present. Otherwise, we could just do it over the phone again, like we did the last one. And so she's like, so are you going to come in? Because that changes what time we do this at. And I'm like, I don't know until you give me the stuff. So now that I have this, I'll just pay the ticket. I'm not going to fight it. I was on his property. Even though if I wanted to fight, again, can Manitowoc ever get anything correct? So they have the wrong date, and now they keep saying my car is black when my car is blue. But remember, if you watch my videos at any time, you'll see when people are debating on is Teresa's car green or blue, I say that to you guys all the time that, no, my car does that too. My car is blue, but if you see it in this light, it's black. And if you see it in this light, it's blue. But it is blue. So they have on here multiple times, I have a blue vehicle. I do not. I mean, a black vehicle. I do not. I have a blue vehicle. And the Rad-Ant property does not say no trespassing. How do I know when I'm walking in the woods and I come upon these two weird trailers that that's private property? There's no mailbox at the end of that road or anything like that. It's a dead end. So that's that with my trespassing ticket. I think I'll have to call them on Monday and tell them that I'm going to pay them. And I know the ticket always says it's $200.50. We'll see if they jack that up higher and say that I have to pay now court costs for their time. And that too will be utter bullshit, because if you just told me from day fucking one that it was Rad-Ant, I would have just paid the goddamn ticket. Idiots. Gosh. So, all right, now I'll scroll with some of the things that you guys have posted, and then also anything else you want to discuss. And sorry, while I was reading all that, some of your comments or questions have already been pushed up, and it won't let me go back. So I can't get them. So the first comment that I can see on here is Michelle saying, in Canada, we don't pay to get evidence. You get it free. And I am so sorry you are dealing with this in their behavior. Yeah, it's stupid. Deborah says, oh my God, you're in the video. What's matter about your reflection? Yeah. Natasha says, and Carla just had to get on the phone. Mm-hmm. Mickey says, so is it a business? How can you trespass on a business? Well, because I was also in the Rad-Ant Quarry. We drove in there at one point too. But see, they're not saying that. you know, and I believe they're saying, but also, okay, it's the deer camp. And I think the deer camp is on the business property. See what I'm saying? So, and Joshua Radant owns the business. So that's what I think it all is. Joyce says, so I know you said if it was Josh Radant, you'd pay it, no problem. Since Chuck and Carla are involved, will you still pay it or still fight it? No, I'm going to pay it, Joyce, because it is Radant's property. But I will make sure that Stephen knows it was Chuck and Carla that were informing Josh that I was there to film for his supporters. What was I doing, Carla, Chuck, that warranted, we have to tell, this is an emergency? I'm showing supporters of Stevens where Kathleen's latest video at that time, that's when she had done the reenactment video. So I was showing the places that was in the video. So I always think it's funny because Steven Avery Project is the biggest support page for Steven, hands down. Carla can make fun of us all she wants, you know, where she says it's just 200,000 likes. How many of those are active? Well, how many people are fucking active in Carla's group? Yeah, everywhere people join groups and then they never say a thing. There's 10,000 people in here. 10,000 people aren't posting and gossip. 10,000 people joined it. A lot of people just want to read the stuff and they don't want to post because they're afraid they're going to get attacked, you know, by, you know, if you get grammar police or you get somebody doesn't agree with your opinion. You know, there's a lot of people that don't want to deal with that shit and they just want to read it. They want to read the stuff on the case, even if they like the gossip, but they don't want to get involved in the gossip. So, and I saw somebody in Tracy's group making fun of us that, oh yeah, we, you know, Steven Avery Project has taken a hit because they had 200,000 and now they're down to 198. No, Carla's the one that said we had 200,000. I have always said we have 198 and should be 200 soon. And most people will round up on things. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me go over here and refresh on this page because it'll bring it up over here, or it should. All right, currently right now, Steven Avery Project has 198,297 likes. We have 721 new likes this week. So up 721. How many of those people are active? Well, as I said in the video that I deleted, we can show you, like when we post Newsweek articles, they're seen by over 1 million people. So even though we only have 198,000, 1 million read it. They don't choose to follow it. They come to the page and then read the stuff on the page. So we have well more people on our page than you know. Do they all comment? No. And who cares? But that's the difference between myself and the moderators of Steven Avery Project and Carla and Tracy and all those other people, that they're fans. We're supporters. Supporters are going to support Steven. However, they'll say I'm here for fame and fortune. Oh, yeah. Because if you're in any of those other groups or on Twitter or whatever, you see the way they're talking about me. How many people are going to want to deal with that? And this isn't my first go around with it. For 3 years, they've been doing that to me. And I'm still here. For 6 months, I didn't talk to Steven. But we were still here. Do you see me making posts telling people not to support Steven because he doesn't call me anymore? No. Because it's not about me. And it's not about if Steven talks to me. And I'll clear up the misconception of I have never been on Steven's visitors list. So people saying I was desperate to get back on his list, I've never been on his list. I've always told Steven, if he wants me to come visit, I will. But that's it. Just like my phone calls with Steven is, he knows if he wants to call me, he can call me. He doesn't have to call me every day. He doesn't have to call me at such and such time on such and such day every week. Even back when I talked to him before, I wouldn't hear from him for a month, 2 months, whatever. You know, again, I'm here for when he wants to talk to me. That's all. My world doesn't revolve around Steven. And I'm not saying that to be an asshole. It's just the truth. I'm not obsessed with Steven. I'm not obsessed with having a clique of friends that, oh, we're going to get together once a month and post pictures to say, look, we all like each other, when I actually know a lot of them don't like each other and are just pretending. So let me go again, and I haven't been scrolling through your things. So Tracy Strunzi. And I will keep this up, and so go ahead, spies, bring this back to her. I don't fucking care. All right? Never met her. Don't care about her. She's insignificant to me. I don't watch her videos. I've never joined her group. I don't go on her group. I could give, sorry, I'm going to be swearing a lot. So earmuffs, get your kids out of the room or put on earplugs, because I'm going to swear. I don't fucking care about her at all. Back when I used to talk to Steven, he would tell me nobody talks more shit about me to him than Tracy. And she wasn't on his visitors list at that time. He was only talking to her on the phone. But I'm just like, whatever, you know, and we would laugh about it. So and I've explained this a million times, but here I go explaining it again. So maybe there are some of you who haven't heard it before, or you just want to hear it all over again. Back in October, Steven had said that he wanted a truce between groups. He had never said that before. For the 2 years I had been talking to him at that point, he had always told me how much he disliked Carla and made fun of Carla, and I made fun of Carla. Everything was, you know, Carla is a thieving bitch. So now he says he wants a truce. Okay. Because again, it's not about me. It's not about what I want. And I said to Steven, all right, if that's what you want. And I told him to have Carla call me. So Carla called me the next day. We talked. I agreed to the truce. And I told her no fucking fundraisers. None. And she said, oh God, no, I don't want to deal with that. It's too much of a headache, blah, blah, blah. And then within the next week, she had 3 fundraisers. 1 to cater her Thanksgiving dinner at her house, 1 to cater her Christmas dinner at her house, and 1 for her to go to Red Lobster. Now, hold on, I'm getting don't forget to mention this on the live. Okay. Carla's excuse will be, well, I didn't start them. Somebody else did. And so I would always say to her, I'm not an idiot, Carla. You can fool the fans. You can't fool me. I'm not an idiot, you know, because you have to remember, Carla and I were friends. What is this? Sorry. Now I'm losing track. Okay. I was friends with her at one point, and she would brag to me how she had minions who will do her bidding. And that she had one in particular, I can't remember her name, Emily? Was it Emily such and such? Who her job was just to be in every single group and never post. So that way she would never get kicked out of anywhere and always be Carla's mole to go everywhere. So she would laugh to me on how she was using people and getting them to do what she wants. And so that's why when she now tries to say to me, oh, somebody did it. They did the GoFundMe for me. Oh, shucks, gee williker. And I'm like, Carla, I fucking know you. So knock it off. That doesn't work on me. It's going to work on not the supporters, because again, they're not supporters, they're fans. It's going to work on the fans. Doesn't work on me. So just stop it. And so within a week, she's got 3 different GoFundMes going. And a point I have to make on that too is I only found out about them because Christy, one of our moderators, told me about them. She sent me a screenshot of it showing me these GoFundMes, because she knew my rule was no GoFundMes, and here Carla is doing the GoFundMes. So I then shared that screenshot with the moderators. Christy, I don't think you were even, no, you weren't even a moderator here at that time. I shared it with my moderators. And then one of our moderators, Michael Ryan, tweeted about it using that screenshot, which showed Christy since she had taken the screenshot. So it exposed her as it was her screenshot. So now Carla banned her from the group for that. But so Michael Ryan tweets. If you don't know who Michael Ryan is, because he's not on Facebook very much, and he's really not even on Twitter very much anymore, but he's somebody who was very involved in this case for a long, long time. And he's actually feared by a lot of people on Twitter because he will not suffer fools, and he's going to come right at you and expose you. It just is what it is. And so he saw that GoFundMe. Now, mind you, too, we've been dealing with Carla's GoFundMes for years at this point. Where Carla's son had a GoFundMe because I want to fix my car. And, Sandy does a GoFundMe because my basement flooded. So these people are always trying to take advantage of the supporters for themselves, to benefit for themselves. So he tweeted about it. And so then Carla messages me and she's like, I thought we had a truce. And I said, and she said, Michael Ryan is tweeting about me and we're not supposed to be talking about each other. And I said, and you're not supposed to have a fucking GoFundMe. And then that's when, again, like I said, she gives the excuse of, oh, gosh, golly gee, I didn't do it. Somebody else might it. Now, I'm telling you right now, if somebody made a GoFundMe for me, now, I know people are calling me a hypocrite because people did give me money towards the documents that I got. I'm sorry, that's, I think is acceptable. If people want to pay towards the money that I paid to get the documents that everybody's using, go for it. Just like I know Tracy raised money to get documents too. She's got every right to do that too. I don't care. I don't have a problem with that. So if people are going to offer to help pay for the documents, go for it. And if any money were to come in over what it cost me, I would give it to an inmate. I'm not telling you I need an oil change on my car. So donate to me. So I said, gave her own thing, or her own line, and said, I can't control Michael Ryan. He's tweeting what he tweets. I didn't tell him to tweet that. I don't, which is all true. And she said, I'll tell Steven. And I said, go for it. But then I don't hear from Steven again. But you didn't see me say I'm taking my ball and going home. You didn't see me say that I will no longer support Steven. You didn't see me saying nasty stuff about Steven. Steven Avery Project and MAM Gossip continued just as always. Because we're here to support Steven. No matter, I don't give a shit if Steven hates me. I still believe he's innocent and would still support him. I still would want to bring attention to his case. Don't care. So then last Wednesday, Steven calls me. When the recording's done, when you first get to talk, he was laughing and he says, you surprised? And I'm like, well, hello, stranger. And I don't ask him why he hadn't called all this time. I just said, whatever you're hearing about me, Steven, because Carla's always trying to convince Steven that I'm a thief and that I'm taking money from them. And I'm like, Steven, what money am I stealing? Because I won't promote Carla's fundraisers? How is that stealing money from anybody? Carla shouldn't be getting any fucking money. So I'm not going to waste my time or his time in a phone conversation of him telling me why he stopped calling, because I really don't care. It's the same shit, different day. These people are always trying to talk shit about me. I don't care. So it was, so Steven and I caught up and talked and all that. And so this was a Wednesday, and he told me that Tracy and Angie were coming to visit the next day. And he said he's going to be taking them off his list. And I was like, ooh, because I know they're BFFs with Sandy. So I was like, are you going to tell them? And he's like, nope, they'll find out. And I was like, oh my God. So then he had his visit on Thursday. I had posted on Facebook that I had talked to Steven. And then that's when Tracy decides to go public that she's been on his visitors list for about 6 months. So then that just gets me going, really interesting that I haven't talked to Steven in about 6 months. So, coincidence? So she goes public, bragging that she's been visiting Steven for 6 months. Blah, blah, blah. Steven calls me Thursday night, but I was at an event, and by the time I was able to get to my phone to answer when he was calling, it was gone. So I didn't get to talk to him Thursday night. So then he called me Friday. And I asked him, how did the visit go? And he said it went good. He said it went better than usual. And I said, did you tell them you're taking them off the list? And he said, nope. And he said, hey, they'll find out because they will be off as of Tuesday. So this was Friday, so they would be off the following Tuesday, this Tuesday that just passed. Because the way visitors work in Wisconsin is when you put somebody on your list, they remain on your list for 6 months. You can't remove them. They're on there. And then at the end of 6 months, if you remove them, they're off now for 6 months and can't go back on. So it's that 6 month thing. So Steven had actually told me he was removing 3 people. Those 2, and then somebody else that I don't know or whatever. And so he said he would send out the letter to add me to his visitors list. And I was like, okay. And now I've told him the whole time, like I've said, I've been talking to Stephen longer than Tracy has even been around. All right. But I've always told him I'll go on the list. And he has at sometimes said, or actually he's never said he's adding me. He's always said, well, you'll know if that letter shows up in the mail. So I was like, whatever, if the letter comes, then, whatever. So then he tells me, now Stephen over the years has told me things he wants me to post or things he wants me to do. Some things are kind of on the down low, things that needed to get out. And I do it because, and when Stephen has had me when he's talked about these things with me, I've said, I'm going to get flack for this. I don't care. I'm fine with being the dick. I'm the bad guy, whatever. I really don't care. My nickname is Jax the Abrasive. I'm a political person. I'm an activist. So like I have my local politicians, when they want to expose their competitor for something, their opponent, they send it to me on the download for me to expose it. So I'm just known as I'm the asshole. I'm the one that's fine with going public, and I get in people's faces and I'll yell at people and all that. So he said he wanted me to make a post saying that he was removing Tracy and Angie and that he was adding me. And I said, I'm going to get a lot of shit about it. And he just laughs and thinks it's funny. So I make a post, but the post just says, Stephen said he's removing some people off his list and will be adding me. Now, people have switched that around and they're making it out like I made Stephen take people off the list so I could get on. Didn't happen. Because again, now remember, he called me on Wednesday. And now he removed Tracy and Angie. Officially, they were removed on the Tuesday. So in a week. And he's telling me when he calls me on Wednesday, he's going to be removing them. It's the first time I've talked to him in 6 months. And he's the one telling me, you think maybe the reason he called me now is because he had already determined he was removing the people who had been talking shit about me? And the reason I was told he was removing them is because Tracy talks shit about Kathleen Zellner. And Tracy's fans are raking me over the coals too everywhere, saying they don't see her do that. They're going to write Stephen letters and tell Stephen that she doesn't do it. Stephen's not seeing this stuff online, idiots. She says these things to Stephen. So her fans may not interpret the things she does when she says Kathleen is stupid to do this and she's stupid to do that. And this chick who's not a fucking lawyer is trying to say she knows better than Kathleen Zellner on what she should be doing in a post-conviction. Go fuck yourself. Seriously. She says those things to Stephen. He don't like it. And then he tells Kathleen. And also, the thing to know about Kathleen is she has her own minions, people, and they are everywhere. Her minions are probably watching this right now. Because the example I'll give you on that is when Melissa was going to court a year ago, I changed my profile pic to a picture of Melissa, because it's like I'm happy thoughts, thinking happy thoughts. I am a sensible gun law activist. That's where I was today on talking about certain gun loopholes. And at that time, there was something going on gun-wise. Was it the Parkland students then? I don't remember. But you know how on Facebook for your personal profile picture, you can get a frame. that the frame goes around your picture. So I did a frame, probably one that said enough is enough, sensible gun laws or something like that. Within a half hour, and this is my personal Facebook page. I don't take my politics and my activism to the stuff that I do for the wrongfully accused. It was my personal page. And you'll see, like, when I post in Gossip and when I post in Steven Avery Project, I come up as Steven Avery Project. So you're not seeing, you don't even see my personal profile pic in that. Within a half hour, Kathleen asked me to remove it because she said that some judges are pro-gun and would not want the judge to get upset that I'm an advocate for Melissa and I have, a gun reform thing on my Facebook. So, Kathleen's not on my Facebook page. Kathleen's not looking at all my stuff. Just like when you see all those tweets, Kathleen's not making all those tweets. She's got people who do that stuff. So she's everywhere. So she knows what Tracy is saying about her. She might not personally see it herself, but her people are going to report back to her that they see the stuff that she's saying. But again, Tracy says the things to Steven. Her fans, again, will defend that, saying, doesn't she have a right to her own opinion? Blah, blah, blah. Sure she does. But not if you're an advocate for Steven Avery, you don't. You don't. You don't shit talk his lawyer. She wants to do that with Angie, and when they have their little pillow fight sleepover parties at Sandy's house. Go ahead. Talk all the shit you want, because that's all those events are, is I'm talking shit. And they're talking shit about you too, fans, just so you know. You don't do it publicly when you're crowning yourself attached to Steven. And then when you talk to Steven, whether it's on the phone or on a visit, you don't talk shit about his lawyer. That's his lifeline. His freedom depends on Kathleen. He doesn't want to hear she made a mistake. She shouldn't have filed that. She shouldn't have done that. No, you're an asshole. You're a complete and utter asshole. I have Melissa Kaluzinski. So I talk with her on the phone and I visit her in prison. I'm actually going to visit her this Monday. She'll sometimes get worried because she's like, I haven't heard from Kathleen and blah, blah. I'm not going to go, well, she's busy with Steven Avery's case. I'm just like, she's always working and, she's on top of it. And she wants to hear good things about her lawyer. She wants to hear, she just got somebody else freed, or she got somebody a big judgment. They don't want to hear that the lawyer's making the wrong move. Okay, that's first of all. Second of all, you're not a fucking lawyer. So how dare you try and say Kathleen does anything wrong? I want to see you free a single person. So, and then Steven had also told me that he thought she just had a page that was just talking about legal stuff. He didn't know she was using his name. And he was upset by that he didn't want his name. And it's also his name and Brendan's name, which is another thing that Steven has said to everybody a million times. He does not want his name. He doesn't want to share his group with Brendan. He wants a page to himself. So that, again, is what Steven Avery Project is. I am sliding in Melissa Kaluzinski's stuff because I'm sorry, the girl is close to my heart, and I feel that I can share her stuff because she's also Kathleen's client. But I want people to know about her case and fight for Melissa. But we don't post a whole lot of Brendan's stuff. We'll post some because I know the people at Steven Avery Project want to know. But I have Free Brendan where Brendan's stuff gets posted. And I don't post Steven's stuff on Free Brendan. So, and I don't, and it's not Steven being an asshole to Brendan, because Brendan also doesn't want Steven on his stuff. They want to be their own people. They're their own people. They're adult men. They were tried separately. Their cases were separate. In Steven's case, he killed Teresa in the garage. And in Brendan's case, they raped her and stabbed her and pulled her hair and tickled her. And I don't know what all they did to her in there. And then they killed her in the garage because she just wouldn't die. Cut her throat, stab her. Girl just won't die. So they don't want to be attached. And they shouldn't have to be if they don't want to. And so he sees that she's got both his name and Brendan's name on her, basically a lawyer. He don't like it. He has told Carla forever, get his name off her group. She ignores him because she doesn't care. I have seen, because people have sent me a ton of screenshots. The moderators here are getting tons of screenshots of everything that's being posted in Tracy's group, in Purple Idiots group, and on Twitter. And so where Carla states that if Steven puts me on the visitors list, she's done with him and will no longer support him and only support Brendan. Nah. Steven's been told that, Carla. And sorry, I literally have restless leg syndrome and I can't sit still, and I have degenerative disc disease and I always got to move my back. So sorry, I'm twitchy and fidgety. So you're just an asshole. You're just an asshole that because Steven talks to me, you now won't support him. I fucking hate Carla. I would never tell Steven he can't talk to her or visit her, or I'm done. Same thing goes with Tracy and Angie and Sandy and all them fools. I don't care. Steven should have what Steven wants. You know, it's not my business. I don't ask him who's on his list. I don't ask him who else he talks to, because I don't care. When he calls me, we'll talk about the case and talk about, I'll ask him stuff about, I try to get them out of their heads, that don't want to just keep talking about any of this stuff, and so I'll always say, how can we help? Like when he called me on Wednesday, I had said, what do you need, Steven? Can I make a post that you need something? Because sometimes people don't want to just throw money into a commissary. They would rather order him socks or, something, because they feel like their money went for something. And he's like, I'm good. Just to put it in my commissary. So when he needs something, he can get it. So by him saying that, oh, well, in that case, tell people I want this, this, and that, he's not taking advantage of the supporters. So don't think, oh, he just wants your cash, because he would say, well, yeah, okay, I want a new TV and this or that, whatever. But he doesn't. And to tell you the truth, none of the inmates that I speak to, when I ask them what do they need, they typically say they don't need anything. And they're the wrongfully accused people. They're good people. They're not taking advantage, So Steven's like, just put it in my commissary. And I explained to him how people from out of the country were having issues with donating online to his canteen, and how I was just directing them to go to Kathleen's page and then donate to Kathleen. And he said, yeah, go ahead and do that. because the money that goes to Kathleen, and I get it, there are people that don't want to do it because Kathleen's page says, goes for his legal defense, and they don't want to throw money towards his legal defense because Kathleen is doing this pro bono. But the shit does cost money, and why should it be out of Kathleen's pocket? But the deal is if Steven needs something, if money's not in his canteen, he just tells Kathleen and she puts it in there. She does the same thing with Melissa. So Kathleen's not stealing the supporters' money. That's Carla's job. So, and I'm always honest with Steven. Going from the very first time he called me, when he called me, I told him, I'm not looking to date you. And he laughed. Because I know he talks to lots of girls who, fangirl out, and that's not me. I don't care if once Steven's out of prison, if I ever talk to him again. If he wants to talk to me, he knows how to get a hold of me. So I just don't care. Oh, I don't know if I'm sounding as bad as Carla or Tracy when I say that, but I just don't care. I care about the man being freed because he's in there for something he didn't do. I care about wanting him to be able to have some quality time with his parents before they die. I care about him being able to find someone he can love, who loves him, who truly loves him, who isn't going to use him thinking one day he's going to get a big payoff. That's what I hope for Steven. I hope he and his parents can ride off into the sunset and can get privacy and, not always have to be followed by people and people asking questions and wanting to get their pictures taken with them and all that kind of stuff, that they can just go back to living their life. So if, Steven told me that, okay, I think I've made a mistake and, I want Tracy back on my list, I'd be like, okay, whatever. I don't care. And I'm that same way in my personal life too. Whoever I'm friends with, I don't have to like all their friends. It's not I don't like that person, so you can't talk to them. I don't care. I do that. I don't have to like your friends, so go do your thing with that person. We don't need to do these things together. And I don't like that person. Go do it. Have fun. I don't hold it against you at all. So I'm the same here. He tells me if, when he's released, that all those, the craft, all that, their little coven, they're going to throw a release party for him. And, he's going to it. Awesome. It's his life. Do what he wants. So, and I said, when all these people talk about poor Tracy, the only person I think who has the right to be pissed is me. I'm the one who's consistently getting fucked around. I'm the one getting consistently trashed. He doesn't talk to me for 6 months due to what those people were saying about me. And then he calls me again. And I'm still here. What do you need, Steven? Okay, I'll make this post. Okay, I will post this picture. How can I do this? Post this picture that he sent me and the letter that he sent me for his supporters that says, "Hello, Jax, to my supporters. I'm doing good right now, and soon I will get a new trial so I can be happy again. Love, Steven Avery." Okay, I'll post it. You know, but Carla, his own niece, is, if he puts Jax on his visitors list, I'm not supporting him anymore. I'm done. Awesome. You're awesome, Carla. But she's never supported him. Never. She didn't visit him until Making a Murderer came out. And she told me she hated him. Her husband told me he was a major dick. They all didn't like him, but they all tolerated him those 2 years he was out because they wanted a piece of his settlement when he got it. So they tolerated Stephen being a big meanie to them because they wanted his money. And then as soon as the Hallback case came around, they were all happy to get rid of him. Bye. And even stated to people that they thought he was guilty. They were happy he's gone. Chuck, who called Josh Radant, doesn't want to split the salvage yard with Stephen because right now it's just him and Earl. But once Stephen comes home, it's split 3 ways, baby. And Stephen's always been the parents' favorite. So they're happy he's in there. They didn't visit him. They didn't give a fuck. Making a Murderer comes out. Oh, now they care. And look at their Facebook pages. How many women do they have on there? These 2 men who have criminal records for things they've done to women. These pervy men who want to talk shit about Stephen. Stephen doesn't have those charges. They do. Chuck and Earl do. Earl put a secret camera in his bathroom to watch when children were changing into their bathing suits at his kid's birthday party. Yeah. So, Tracy's fans are going to write to Stephen and tell him I say bad things about his family. I say bad things about his family to Stephen. So go for it. I've talked to Stephen about those things. I told Stephen that Earl messaged me and called me a cunt. And I'm supposed to like him. Why? Because he's related to Stephen? Nope. I judge you on your character, not who you're related to. An asshole's an asshole. I have people in my family I won't talk to. They're an asshole. Don't like them. Have no use for them. Bye. Respect is earned, not given. So, all right. So there's another long rant by me without reading any of your stuff. So let me go back to your things as far as I can read them. The first one I can see is Natasha saying, I'm starting a GoFundMe to go visit Jax. Well, speaking of that, what are they going to do about their rally? Sorry if there's anybody on here who goes to those dumbass rallies. Those rallies are a freaking embarrassment. They get like 30 people there, and half of them are Avery family related. And all it is they want attention. You know, free Stephen Avery, free Brendan Dassey. It does nothing. Zero. It actually hurts the case, because when you have Making a Murderer having how many views, and you can only get 30 people to your fucking rally and half of them are family members, plus some are guilters because Carla and Tracy like to be friends with guilters and think it's okay to be friends with guilters. That's an embarrassment, those rallies. Really is. People will say it's sour grapes that I say that, because I actually organized the very first rally, and 3 days before the rally, Carla kicked me off. When I was organizing the first rally, my whole focus was going to be getting signatures on the Juvenile Interrogation Protection Law, which is something that me and Injustice Anywhere did. Now, Barb will say it's the Barbara Taddick law. No, it's not. Go look at it. Go look at the petition. It's not. Go look at it. It's the Juvenile Interrogation Protection Law. Scroll to the bottom of the petition. Who manages the petition? Oh, it would be Injustice Anywhere and Free Brendan. Free Brendan that I'm an admin of. Who wrote that petition? Well, it would be the lawyers from Injustice Anywhere. And I also consulted with Laura Nyrider. So you will see things in there that, because I sent Laura the draft of it, and then she gave me her notes. We talked on the phone and she gave me her notes, which were excellent. I don't pretend to be a lawyer. See, that's why I talk to real lawyers. So I talked to both Drizzen and Nyrider on it. And so, like, originally when we were writing that petition, it was going to say that you can't interrogate a juvenile without a parent or a lawyer present. Nyrider said, no, it has to be a lawyer, because parents don't know the law and aren't necessarily going to be what is best for the kid. And I was like, you're right. Because if you're accusing my son of something and I'm in the room, I'm going to go spider monkey on your face. And that's not going to help him. So she was absolutely right on that. And then something else she wanted included, which I would have never thought of in a million years, is when you say that you can't interrogate them without a lawyer present, you need to make it that it can be electronically. Skype, FaceTime, whatever. Because say the kid was out spray painting something on a Friday night and he gets picked up at 1 a.m. Well, if you live in the boonies where there's no real lawyers that are anywhere near that kid may have to sit in that jail until Monday, until a lawyer can travel to that jail. So do it electronically. And that until a lawyer is present in whatever way, the juvenile cannot waive their rights to counsel. Do you waive these rights? Nope. Can't ask them that. You can't Mirandaize them because they're not going to waive their right. So I wanted to, at that first rally, push that petition and get signatures on it. That was my focus for that rally. And I wanted to be law abiding. So I'm the one that organized it, where I got the permit, I was the liaison with the police. But when I was first trying to organize it, Manitowoc Sheriff's Department was demanding $2,000 for the permit. And they said it was for security and cleanup. And they wanted me to have $1 million insurance policy, liability insurance. So I said, okay, well then I'll just have it on the public sidewalk. I don't need a permit to be on the public sidewalk. It is my constitutional right to peaceful protest. And to which Manitowoc said to me, no, that's our sidewalk. I said, nope, you don't own the sidewalk. It's a public sidewalk. It's not yours. And they're like, nope, it's ours. So I was like, okay. I contacted the ACLU. The ACLU then argued with Manitowoc on my behalf and got it, so I didn't need a permit and didn't have to pay any money. But then there were rules. One of which is there is a sound ordinance. So you cannot use sound amplifiers for any reason. One of Carla's minions wants to use a bullhorn. Why do you want to use a bullhorn? Because look at me, look at me. You don't need a fucking bullhorn. She knew that they said no sound amplification. And she said she was going to do it anyway. That just makes us look horrible. I get it. People are mad at Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. The rules are the rules. Follow the rules, fuckheads. Another rule was you can't go on courthouse property. Oh, we're going to go on courthouse property. It again makes our side look bad that you can't follow the fucking rules. So they're going to say it's sour grapes because I organized a rally and then they just took it away from me. It's not sour grapes because then I watched the video of it and I'm like, oh my God, that is so embarrassing. I was like glad now that I wasn't there, that I dodged a bullet. Because I find it to be extremely embarrassing that kabillions of people are so attached to this case from around the world and you get 30 people there in the summer that you plan for it a year in advance. Embarrassing. And then when people ask me about the rally and I'm like, what's my opinion? Should they go or not? My opinion is always, you do what you want. I think it's stupid. That's just me. So what are they going to do with their friend rally if now they're mad at Stephen? We're not supporting Stephen. So are they going to do it just to support Brendan? And what kind of asshole supporter are you that you're only going to support one and not the other? And you're not going to support Stephen just because he talks to me? Oh my God. So again, you're not a supporter, you're a fan. And you're not a fan of Stephen's, you're a fan of Carla's or you're a fan of Tracy's. Good riddance. I also see they make posts over there saying that, oh yeah, we're losing numbers. And so some of the moderators have seen any of the people who have posted over there that talked shit, they have been removed from gossip. It was 12 people. It's not a big crew. Now, sure, there are other spies that are in here right now that aren't posting shit because they want to be able to come here and spy and report it all back. But we're not going to just boot you out of here because you're in that group. Be in whatever fucking group you want. But if you talk shit about me, about Stephen Avery Project, about any of the moderators here, we're going to boot you. Stay over there then. Moderators, we're going to go through Stephen Avery Project and boot any of them from there. And I'm like, no, leave them. That's not the gossip place. Whatever. I don't care. As long as they don't post shit on Stephen Avery Project, they can stay on it. We don't do the gossip and the drama over there. So go ahead and watch that page or whatever. But if you post shit and we find out about it, if you post shit about me or anybody else here, and we find out, you're gone. That's simple, right? We're not an asshole for doing that. I'm not telling you who you can and can't be friends with or what pages you can be on. Be in Tracy's page. But if you go in Tracy's page and talk about me in the negative, then we're going to boot you here. You know, I don't understand how I'm a bad person for that. And also something else, and the moderators will talk about this. Most of the people that get booted out of our pages are done by the moderators. The moderators do most of the work here. I do a share of it, but they do the heavy lifting. I'm like the face. oh my God, my face. So I get blamed everywhere. Jax banned me. Jax deleted me. No, I didn't. I don't even know who you are. I don't even know why you were kicked out of here. Because I have, me and the moderators are a team, so they don't have to ask me permission first. They do whatever they feel is right for the page. Now, there will be times all of us moderators will then take a screenshot of something and they're like, what do you think this means? Do you think this was something bad or not? So there's times we'll ask for a second opinion, but there is no hierarchy here, even though Patty and Carrie have been with Stephen Avery Project longer than I have. And they've been around making a murderer world in this whole nitty-gritty stuff way longer than I have. They know everything about everything. And it's, so like Christy, who was added, within the last year, she doesn't have to ask Patty or Carrie's permission before they do something or before she does something, or ask me. And there will be times something a moderator will do that maybe I don't agree with, or another moderator may not agree with something that I've done, but we just have each other's backs, so it's like, if you felt that was right, all right. I'm not one of those that I punish my son because he did something and then wait till your dad gets home to get punished again. No. So we're a team here. But since I am the face, buck stops here. Everybody blames me for everything that happens. So like even when, what's his face, Michael Ryan made the tweet, I then got blamed for it. I had nothing to do with his tweet. And if you know Michael Ryan, you would know I have no. So, but I have to take that as I put myself out there, and if you put yourself out there publicly, you can't expect everybody to love you. There's going to be people that hate you and people that criticize you. I get it. That's fine. People don't have to like me. But also, with this being a closed group, it's my party and I can kick your ass out if I want to. So while I say, yeah, people don't have to like me, but it is my page. So, or my group or whatever. So I don't have to have you here if I don't want to. All right, let me go back to scrolling to your stuff. Sorry. Lily says, you're a good woman, Jax. Tell Jeff he has competition. Deanne says, well, that means no more fundraisers or GoFundMes if she's done supporting him. Oh, darn. Karen says, this is just unreal. Like, I'm disgusted by his family acting that way. I am completely disgusted. Lily, Chuck, and Earl. Yeah. Shelly says, really? And then Kathy says, there are some real issues there. Karen says, oh my God. Kitty says, that's why I can't figure out how law enforcement went straight to Stephen and not his brothers first. Usually the ones with criminal records like that are first looked at. Yeah, but they went after Stephen because they want that $36 million lawsuit to go bye-bye, which it did. So that was the whole purpose. And who's to say Chuck and Earl didn't have any part in it? Because Earl let them on the property searching with, yeah, go ahead, go search. And they said things. And remember, it was Earl who ran and hid underneath his clothes, dirty clothes, when cops were there to talk to him. So, did Chuck and Earl have anything to do with the framing of Stephen? Randall says, that is the worst word here in the state, beyond offensive. I'm sorry. Language doesn't offend me. So, So that one I know is one, I have plenty of friends who won't even say it and will just say the C word. I'm somebody who believes if you take the power away from the word, it loses its power, unless it's racial. Obviously you shouldn't use a racial slur. Christy says, 100% agree with Nyrider. I think no one should be interrogated without a lawyer present, no matter the age. I agree, because I don't know our legal system. And so it would be better if I had a lawyer there, because I don't know. Heidi just woke up. Kathy says, do yourself a favor and stay focused on what you're doing here. They're not worth the time and energy. Oh, yeah. I am not upset at all. And I said this in the deleted video, is that when I talk about these things, I get animated when I'm talking about it, but I'm truly not upset. I've been going through this for 3 years. It doesn't make me angry at all, because I don't care what those people think of me. And it's a broken record, the things they accuse me of. I see people are again accusing me of stealing money with zero proof of it. They just like to say it, or they'll allude to they have proof. Put up or shut up. But just remember, people who are saying that, on what I know about you. Just saying. Scrolling. Kristen says, couple things I missed. Are you going to pay for the trespassing thing or fight it? What are we talking about now? Kristen, I'm going to pay the trespassing ticket, because now the information that came today is it's Josh Radant. But Josh Radant only even knew about it because Chuck and Carla called him and told him about my Facebook Live that I did here in Gossip. So this ticket wouldn't have happened if not for Chuck and Carla. But seeing as I did go on his property, I'll pay the $200 ticket and won't continue to fight it, even though I think I still technically could, because they have things wrong, as usual, because it's Manitowoc and they can't get things right. Karen says, oh my God, this is insane to me. Kitty says, oh, that's why they're making no trespassing such a big deal. Kristen says, can we chip into all to help pay for the charge? Kristen, I had mentioned to the moderators that I wouldn't turn down if people wanted to pay for it. The moderator suggested I do not ask supporters to pay for it because of the current attacks that I'm under, and that people will say I'm a hypocrite because, I bitched about Tracy making money from YouTube, and when she's not making money on YouTube, even though she's trying to grow her page so she can make money on YouTube. So the moderators are like, please don't ask supporters to pay, because it's just one more thing I'm going to be attacked on. So, but I guess if somebody was to private message me. Shelly says, Josh filed the complaint. Yes, after Chuck and Carla called him and told him about it, and told him where to go, MAM Gossip, to go find the video to watch it. People replying to each other. Carol Ann Fitzgerald. I was bounced from the lawyer group because I'm apparently a friend of yours. I'm sorry, Carol. They've been doing that for years. Like, I have another page and group called Wrongfully Abused, and I've pretty much abandoned it. It's still up. I should just archive it. Because I started Wrongfully Abused because that's where I could cover any case, not just Stephen or Brendan's. And so they did it when I started that page. They do it everywhere. They go and look at who's in the group, and then they either just boot them or they'll message them telling them why they shouldn't be in there. And it would be better for them just to be in family groups, which is something that I won't do. You know, we're not going and looking in those groups to see who's in there and cross-referencing them with people who are in here, because I don't care. Be wherever you want. And I've said this a couple times throughout, but all I care is you don't talk shit about us. Because if you're going to talk shit about us there, then get out of my sandbox. Go stay there. Georgia says, I knew Stephen would come around. We'll see. And it's funny because I'm fully expecting him to not talk to me again, because I know they're putting the pressure on him. And so it's like, so will it work? Because there's all these people. I'm going to send him a letter and tell him he did the wrong thing. Beep, 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 beep. It could work. I don't know. But again, it won't change what I do. Stephen Avery Project and MAM Gossip will still operate as it's been doing for the last 3.5 years. People replying. Christy says, I enjoy removing people. Yeah, Christy's the big bad here. Debbie says, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks and have no clue who Tracy is. So Tracy Strunzi is one of Sandy's friends. That, she fangirled out about Sandy since Sandy was on Making a Murderer. And so through stalking Sandy, that's how she got her in with Stephen. And so she calls herself basically a lawyer, even though she's not a lawyer and never been a lawyer. And then her friend that also helps on that page is real estate lawyer, kind of not criminal law, but okay, whatever. And these people are always so threatened by, one, Stephen Avery Project being bigger than all their groups combined. Two, that I don't care to sit with them. They can wear their pink on Wednesdays. I don't care. I don't need to be a part of their clique. I don't care. And you can't control me. And I'm going to say what I want to say and do what I want to do. Period. So they all don't like me. And so Tracy was able to manipulate Stephen to not talk to me. And now, since Stephen has removed her from his visitors list per request from Kathleen, I'm getting the blame for it since he's now talking to me again. Carol Ann says, childish, really. I'm in several groups, right? I understand. I know people want to be in guilter groups. It's not something I care to be in, but I get it. Be in a guilter group. See what they're saying. I don't give a shit. Kitty says, I just reactivated my Twitter account and started following a few people. Yeah, Twitter. I don't do Twitter, but people tell me about it. Kathy says, America. Laura says, Jax, I love you. Love your no shit tolerated attitude. Yeah, because I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole. And I'm somebody, when we were talking about words before too. Oh, somebody called me a bitch. I'm a bitch. I know I'm a bitch. I know I'm mean. I know there's times when I've said something that's horrible and I can't believe I just said that, because like as it's coming out of my mouth, like word vomit, I'm like, oh my God, that was a really asshole thing to say. So I say I can be your best friend or your worst enemy. For the people I care about or support, I will fight tooth and nail for you, just like I do for my causes. and that's something I'm known about in Illinois too, that people will contact me of, they have this action, can I do XYZ? So that's just me. I can be fake when I need to be. As in, now I'm in a professional situation and I can't just go, you're a fucking idiot. So I can tone myself down. But I don't care about them. Terry says, I don't understand why anyone wouldn't like you. Well, because as I just said, I can be an asshole. Carol says, I missed the beginning. Well, you'll be able, I won't delete this one. It'll stay on. The beginning, I went all over my trespassing thing, and that it's, I got my evidence from Manitowoc. So it was Josh Radant who filed for trespassing, but only because Carla and Chuck called him and told him I did a Facebook Live. Kitty says the dogs hit on one of their trailers and the golf cart. Correct. Maz says, we say see you next Tuesday here in UK. Yep. Denise says, holy crap, what is happening? Loud noises. Miley. Hey, listening while driving home. Well, hello, Miley. Laura says, is Radant the neighbor? Sorry, I lose track of all the names. Correct. Radant is who owns the quarry that is directly behind the salvage yard. And then it also wraps around to where the deer camp is. And the deer camp is at that Cuss Road cul-de-sac where Kathleen, when she did her reenactment, is saying that's where Bobby got Teresa to stop for the hustle shot. And that's where he got her. So that's who Josh Radant is. Randall says, Bay, let us help a sister. Randall says, you have Venmo. What do I have? See, I'm not the techie person, but a friend of mine put this on my phone. What do I have? I have something. I don't even know. I don't know what I have. I do have a PayPal. And now when a friend of mine, because we do things all the time, like we went to the movies last night and saw Pet Sematary. And so it was me and my boyfriend, my friend and his husband, and then my friend that we go see tons of movies together with. And so bought the tickets, because especially now that you can reserve what seat you want. And so then for him to pay me for his and his husband's seats, he just directly deposits it in my account. But I don't even know how he does it. It's like magic. So I don't know what I have, Randall. I'll have to look into that. Kim says, you didn't ask, we volunteered. They're semantics. Aaron says, so Josh used your own footage to charge you with trespassing? Wow. Yep. Julie says, since this recent crap, they are kicking out anyone that's a member here. I left the group today before they had the chance to boot me. Shelley said, did he have no trespassing signs? Not that I recall. And when I went up there for court the first day, Jeff and I went back there. Now, I didn't drive on the property, but I went to the cul-de-sac there to see if there was anything right there before that path. If it said no trespassing, there's nothing that says no trespassing there. So how would you know you can't walk? It's not like a paved driveway. It's a path in the woods, so I suppose if I really, if I had a lawyer, it's something that you could fight. Uh-oh. What is this that I just got? I just got a screenshot now. So another douchebag that Eric Rose, whatever he calls himself. His name is Richard McAdams. I don't know what his screen name comes from. But so I'm sent a screenshot that during a live, I don't know if it's a live he's doing now or whatever. Oh my God, the picture just disappeared. Hold on, let me see. Will it come back up? Somebody says, Steve removed Tracy from visitors list due to other negative people. Nope. Tracy was removed for being an asshole to Kathleen. That's why. That's why it has nothing to do with me. I know you want to blame me because you think that justifies you, and you just don't want to believe that Stephen and Kathleen are tired of you talking shit about Kathleen. Yeah, your little fans can sit there and go, no, she doesn't. Yes, she fucking does. Somebody sent me a video that was with douchebag Richard and some other douchebag that I guess is on Richard's thing and Tracy. And I can't remember. They told me the exact minutes in it of, go look at this minute. And she's right away talking about, I don't know why she did that. That was dumb move. She shouldn't do this. That's talking shit about Kathleen, saying so, just, it doesn't have to be a personal attack on somebody to be talking shit about somebody. Questioning her every move that she makes in the legal process is talking shit about Kathleen. So it has nothing to do with me, Ray Razor 10. Oh my God, so stupid. Okay, back to your stuff. Georgia says, I think he knows how they are. Yeah. Denise says, Jax, you did the video for the supporters here. If people want to give, they are doing so freely. You haven't asked us to. San says, you never asked supporters to pay. Supporters wanted to help with the expenses for this very important information we are getting. Thank you. Well, and I know, full transparency, this was talked about when I first got the ticket. And so there were some people who sent money to my PayPal. And then also I was visiting Melissa. And so I always tell people, when I visit Melissa, if you want me to put money on her commissary, because I can bring cash and put it on, it's like a ATM machine type thing that I put the cash in and it goes right directly onto her commissary. So at that point, there was a total of, because now remember, I'm a big thief and I'm just raking in the dough, $239 came in. So when I visited Melissa last Wednesday, I put $100 on her commissary. I put $40 on her food card that, while you're there, you can buy the food from the vending machines. And then the day after I had visited Melissa, I went to her dad's house because her dad was doing a live on Melissa's case. And they wanted to go see Melissa that weekend. And, people who always want to give money to the Avery family, who are not poor, all those people everybody in that family has 2 houses. They've got all the toys, boats and snowmobiles and jet skis and our go-karts and all this stuff. The Kaluzinski family are hurting bad. So it is hard for them to make the 3-hour drive and pay for the gas to go there and the tolls and the food for Melissa. So I gave Paul $20 when I was there for gas. So that was, somebody do the math, $100 plus $40 plus $20. So that's $160, right? Out of the $239 that had come in. Plus now the evidence, there's okay, if you want to count my gas to go to and from Manitowoc when I went the first day, then I paid the $9.20 to get this evidence that just came today. And then for me I sent them, I couldn't pay like online. They only would accept a money order. So I had to go to the post office and get a money order. And then I paid to send it to them. We're track, blah, blah, blah. I paid $25 to mail a $9 check from Illinois to Wisconsin. So that's what I have paid out so far, I guess. And now this ticket is allegedly $200.50, but I don't know that since I didn't just pay it when it came and I've done this and they've had to send this stuff to me, if they're going to hit me with court costs. I have no idea. I will assume not because it's a stupid thing, but I don't know. Maya says, just because I'm single by choice, does that make me basically a virgin? Carol Ann says, oh, I didn't know Kathleen told him. Yes. At least that's what Stephen says to me. I don't know it from Kathleen. I know that's what Stephen said to me. But that Stephen also doesn't like her talking shit about Kathleen. Every visit, every phone call, she talks shit about Kathleen. Randall says, some of us sucking up a little, to be honest. Julie says, assholes make the best advocates. Grease the squeak of every wheel. Randall says, Venmo would be easy. We could all send $2, $5, or whatever. Next best thing to buying you coffee. It goes into your account. I'm old and don't know these things. So it was my friend too that I was like, how do I do that? How do I set this stuff up? So, so he has it now too, that it's like right away when we do things like that, or like when we travel together, so, cause he's in my political circle. So like we'll travel down to Springfield. That's our capital. And that's where, big things happen down there and stuff. So like when we go to Springfield for something and I'm driving and he wants to pay a portion of the gas, and then it goes in my account. I don't know. Terry says, you tell it like it is. That's it. And I love that. Well, but to Tracy and them, they just say I'm lying, but I'm not lying. Seriously. And I always say, if you hear something from any of these other groups, Tracy's group, Purple Psychos group, the Eric Rose Idiots, YouTube, Twitter, whatever, you see somebody say something about me and you're like, ooh, ask me about it. And I'll tell you the honest truth. I don't care. Lynn, you can ask Tracy to be your lawyer. Well, does that mean I'll basically lose? Julie says, Travis Williamson. Yeah, and Travis is somebody who slithered into this group just recently, and he's since been kicked out. Travis Williamson, Eric Goes, and Tracy were criticizing the Youngblood reference KZ made in her motion. I've heard her do this regarding several aspects of different motions KZ files. When you have exonerated 21 falsely convicted people, that's when you can be critical. Until then, shut the fuck up. Bingo. Miley says, sending you money tonight. Miley, Miley has sent money like anytime I mention like I'm going to visit Melissa or whatever, Miley is always throwing money this way. And you really don't need to keep giving me money, Miley. It's appreciated, but oh my God. Bullshit ticket, I might add. How do you know Carla told Josh? I only got on a few minutes ago. All right. So for people that are new on here, Josh Radin's statement, written in his handwriting. Why am I always so bad on where the frick is my camera and my laptop? It says, on 12/3/18, I was contacted by Chuck Avery and Carla about a trespassing complaint. There was a video on Facebook showing Jax West videotaping live driving through our private property. An employee of mine joined MAM Gossip so he could see the video. It does confirm she was clearly trespassing. I contacted my attorney 12/5/18, and he advised I call Manitowoc County Sheriff and file trespassing charges. I called Manitowoc County Dispatch immediately following my conversation with attorney Pat Duane. The video seems to take place on 12/2 at around 1:30 p.m. So stated right in there that it was Carla and Chuck that told him about it. And hello, Nicole. Georgina, you'll probably just have to pay the ticket and it's done. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. But Georgia said, purple chick is kind of left. Kitty says, you're the only person that holds my interest during a live. I get bored of the others and turn them off after 10 to 15 minutes. Well, because, yeah, when I'm on here is either I'm ranting. So, like, yeah, I've been on for 2 hours now. Yeah, I'm the psycho. 2 hours. So I'm ranting about something. So I'm sure that's entertaining to people because I'm ranting like a crazy person. Or I just stay on until I get to the bottom of what people have asked. So I've read, asked, and answered, and then I'll go. Miley, and I'm down to the bottom, as I just said that. Miley says, oh, hell, he said it right in the complaint. Wow. Well, Miley, but the first page of this from Deputy Goss, Gosz, upon arriving on scene, I met with the caller, Joshua Radant. Radant said he received information from an anonymous source about a female recording a Facebook Live video on his property. So again, Manitowoc says anonymous, but Radant says Chuck and Carla. So it's hysterical to me that Chuck and Carla called him because they just have to get me because I didn't go on their property. So, because that's what Earl was messaging me about that day when I was driving around. You better not be trespassing. And I'm like, I'm not on your property. And then he's like, well, I rent the land out by the big sign that's out there on 47, right? That's what's out in front of the salvage yard is 47. I rent that property, so even if you pull in by the sign, that's my property and you're trespassing. I've been to the salvage yard. You can watch my videos of that, which you don't have to pay for and don't have ads by, might I add. I've been to the salvage yard. I've walked the Pam Sturm Path of God and videoed it and shared it with you all. I've been to Stephen's trailer. I've been to Stephen's garage. I've been to the fire pit. Been there, done that. I've walked through the salvage yard twice. I've been in Barb's trailer. That's now Chuck's trailer. I've been, and I'm sounding like a douchebag. Am I like name dropping? But it's like, I've been on Avery property. I don't need to go again. Unless I go to visit Dolores like I did before, where all these people hate me. But I went and I visited Dolores in August. I was still talking to Stephen at that time. I told Stephen I was going to go and visit Dolores. And so I visited Dolores and I brought her some money and a Visa card. I don't care about the rest of the family. I don't care about his brothers. I don't care about Carla. Don't care. I care about Dolores. But those are lies too that that Carla has told, is that because she's trying to get supporters to be upset with me. And so both Carla and Earl have said, I've made Dolores cry. She's so upset. Dolores doesn't even know what's going on. She, and Dolores isn't on internet. She doesn't follow any of this stuff. She doesn't know any of it. So I didn't make Dolores cry. That's so stupid. Shelly says, where's Jeff? He works Friday nights. So that's why too. It's like, because he works, because Jeff owns 2 businesses. And so Monday, Wednesday, Friday nights, he works his second business. So I didn't have plans. So it's Friday night and I'll talk with y'all. Miley says, we love watching you, and I can ignore my husband when you're on. Christy says, so is it posted private property? Not that I saw. Julie says, why do Earl and his friend R. Fabian always pop into my head when I dig into my head for who killed Teresa? Because they were driving around in that golf cart that the dog hit on. That's why. Maz says, bloody hell, that 2 hours have gone quick. It's nearly 3 a.m. here, but you keep it fun and don't send me to sleep, LOL. Well, I'll probably be ending this soon because I was already at the bottom and now I'm just scrolling through what came through since then. Christy says, wait, so Earl is saying a place of business is private property? How does that work for business? I don't know. But it's like, so then is it just me? So it's just me that's trespassing if I was to go by that sign, because how many people have gone to the salvage yard and taken pictures of themselves at that sign? I probably have 5 pictures of me at that sign. So it's only trespassing when it's me. And if I was doing it, all I'm doing is taking a picture. How is that hurting you? Julie says, does anyone remember KZ saying a few months ago she got permission from Chuck to test the Dassey garage floor for blood traces? She hasn't said a peep since then. She said it during one of her Q&As on Twitter. Right, Julie, I was talking about this in the live I did that I didn't save. So is that good or bad? Because obviously Kathleen isn't going to show all her cards. So does she have something on that? Or did it not show anything? And that's why we haven't heard anything. Inquiring minds want to know. San says, I think you were on the property looking for a car part. Yeah, I could use that one. So, all right, I am down at the bottom now and have been on for 2 hours, and it's currently 9 p.m. here. And I was out and about all day, and I want to lay on my couch now for a while and just stare at the TV. Well, that's a lie. And I always tell you, I'll tell you the truth. That's a lie. I'll have my TV on, but I'll be staring at my iPad. So, oh wait, no, before I go, another thing I want to talk about is Melissa Kaluzinski. So, Paul called me today and told me to share with you all a newspaper article on her case. So that just came out today. So we shared that here and on Stephen Avery Project, talking about where her case is now. And for those that don't know, Melissa Kaluzinski is another one of Kathleen Zellner's clients. And so then Paul called me like at 5 tonight to tell me that they have learned that the judge that's assigned to Melissa's case, it looks like this is a good one, you know, one they have a good shot with. So I'd like everybody to be thinking happy thoughts for Melissa. And we should post the Kaluzinski GoFundMe. That's the only GoFundMe right now that I will have people donate to. Paul and his wife, Cheryl, Melissa's mom, are going to visit Melissa on Sunday. It's probably too late, though, now that I think about it, to send them money through GoFundMe for them to use on Sunday. But they could always use it for, they're planning on going on Good Friday because Melissa's mom works. So she can't go visit Melissa during the week. She can only go on weekends. The photographer is only there Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So I don't believe there's like ever been a picture of Melissa and her parents at the prison. And Melissa's been in prison for 10 years now. So when I visited her a week ago, she wanted to take pictures. And so we took a picture of her and I together. And then we took a picture or a picture that was just her. And she wanted to keep the picture of her and I. And then I brought back the picture of just her because I was going to her parents' house the next day. And so I gave that picture to her parents. So her parents are planning on going on Good Friday because Cheryl will be off of work. And Melissa, when we were getting our picture by the photographer, because it's always the same guy that does it. And so Melissa asked him, are you going to be here on Good Friday? And he said, yep, I'll be here. So Melissa will finally be able to get pictures with her parents. And Melissa has to pay for those pictures out of her commissary account. She has to prearrange it. So it's not something that her parents can do, or, you know, anybody who visits her that says, I want a picture. She's got to pay for it. So she had like this red ticket. And you have to buy one ticket per picture. And it's like 39 cents a picture or something like that. That's weird. If you want to help her parents in going to visit Melissa on Good Friday, you can donate in their GoFundMe. And also, if I'm going to visit Melissa on Monday, and I could put money in her commissary if you want to send me the money, and I can only do it in cash. You know, so I've got the PayPal, and you could put the money there, and then I just pull it out and bring the cash with me, and I can put it on her commissary. And then I could tell her that the money I put on her commissary is to use for photo vouchers for when her parents come and whatever else. I'm sure there's a way you can donate to Melissa's commissary directly, but I don't know what that is at the moment. But we'll find all that and get it posted for you. But so Melissa's case, we could literally be hearing something any day. And it was Kathleen had filed a writ of habeas corpus for Melissa. So the judge actually could just say, no, free her now. And there is no trial or anything. Melissa just gets to walk out the door. So it's kind of intense right now. So yeah, so I'll visit Melissa on Monday. I have to go down to Springfield. Something that I've posted before, but I've joined on with this oh, what is this? Oh boy. All right, I can't let that distract me because now I'm forgetting my thoughts. So it's called WMP, which stands, WMP is Words Matter Publishing, but it's WMP Justice Review. And so they're bringing me onto the team because of my advocacy for the wrongfully accused. So they have a case they've been working on for a while now. Oh boy, that's interesting. Sorry, getting distracted. That's good. And if the person who's messaging me is watching still right now, oh my God. Okay, yeah, I'll message you as soon as I'm done with this. Words Matter Publishing. So I'm joining with them, and I will be doing their wrongfully accused cases. They do multiple things there, all for justice. They want justice for, you know, different things. So my lane is the wrongful convictions. So they want me to get all up to speed on the case they've been working on, the Marnie Yang case, Marni, last name Yang, Yang, and go ahead and Google it. Everything you find about Marnie screams guilty, 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 guilty. I have now talked with both the woman who started Words Matter Publishing, which is the sub thing of the WMP Justice Review, and I've been speaking with Marnie's father. And we're going to be having a press conference on Marnie's case. And actually, I have my notes right here. April 24th will be a press conference at 11 a.m. And then there's also going to be something, meetings that I have to attend on it on the 26th and the 27th. So, but anyway, so me and the woman who started Words Matter Publishing, we're going to an event in Springfield, Illinois on Monday night, which is honoring our current governor, who I worked for his campaign. He just won in the last election. His wife, MK Pritzker, and then the lieutenant governor, Juliana Stratton, whom I adore. Juliana Stratton is just love. But those two women their main focus is criminal justice reform. And so this event Monday night is just honoring them, but you got to take these opportunities when you get them to go, plug your cases or whatever. So we're going to that event, and that's a 3-hour drive for me. So, and it's that Springfield is about an hour from Melissa's prison. So that event doesn't start until 5:30 p.m. So it's like, all right, well, if I'm going to go that way anyway, I'll go visit Melissa and then go to the event. So I'll visit with Melissa on Monday. And I will also I'll attempt to visit Marnie Yang. Marnie and Melissa are in the same prison. And I tried to visit Marnie when I visited Melissa last week, but since it was spring break, the prison visitor room was so full. They're like, that's it, we're calling it, they came and told me that they wouldn't let me visit the second person. So I think what I do when I go on Monday is I'll just still go early. I'll leave my house at 7 a.m. and, get down there and visit Marnie from, it's a 2 hour and 15-minute drive from my house to the prison. So I'll visit Marnie from 9:30 to 11:30, and then visit Melissa from 12 to 2, and then drive to Springfield and go to the other event. I do not know when I will get approved for Stephen's visitors list. I've been told it goes fast. It could be a week, but I could get flagged as well, because I know when Marnie's dad was putting me on Marnie's visitors list, it took them a little while, because I already visit Kent Pellegrini and Melissa Kaluzinski in Illinois. So they wanted to look into me a little more, which is understandable, because they're like, why is this chick going and visiting multiple people? Is she bringing drugs into our prison? Contraband in or whatever. So I get it. So I don't know if it will matter to Wisconsin that I am now on the visitors list for 3 people in Illinois. But then that's another thing that I guess the Justice Review team will be doing for me, is I will end up getting a badge. Not like a police badge, but it'll be showing that I'm with the Justice Review team. And so that will help me in getting into these things better, that I'm vetted, that you don't have to vet me. I already work, doing these kinds of things. Let me scroll again, since I started yammering about other things. Oh, but also, and before I do that too, Kent Pellegrini. That is another case of Kathleen's, but Kathleen doesn't work that case. her associate Doug does. He's the one, Kathleen's not even in court for that because I've attended Kent's court hearings in the past. It's Doug, but Doug is, phenomenal. He's, filing is due on Kent's case by the end of this month. So we have those right now, is that, Melissa, we could hear anything any day. Stephen, we could hear anything any day. Kent, well, we could hear anything any day. It's just that the due date is the 27th. So those 3 cases, and then the Marnie Yang case that I'm getting on board with, they're going to be filing for her in like May or June, I think. I don't think it's determined for sure yet. Aaron says, I'm sure KZ has a whole hell of a lot that hasn't been made public. I'm sure. People telling me good night because I said I was leaving, and now I teased you and started talking about Melissa and then Kent. Chrissy says, with that said, we have the trespassing ticket covered. I would really prefer anyone that wants to help with ticket donate to Melissa instead. And Christy isn't saying here, Christy wants to pay for the ticket. So people can give her credit for that. Oh, and now I'm being told Kent has no due date. So am I just confusing it with Melissa's? I thought he had a due date of April 27th. But I'm bad with numbers. But anyway, and again, talking about Christy is the one that wants to donate the $200 for my ticket. So, so if that's what you want to do instead, Christy, and I appreciate you donating for the ticket. So, and I appreciate you wanting to help Melissa. So yeah, throw that money in the Cal Yuzinski GoFundMe, or you can PayPal me the money that I'll pull the cash out when I go to visit her on Monday, and I'll put it directly on her commissary. Or I know I'm sure there's a way you could just do it online and I don't have to be your middleman, especially if you're worried that I'm going to steal your money. Okay. Scrolling through. Oh, Riley Fox. That's a sad case. Chrissy says, oh, I just saw the first post where you said a lady was killed. I missed that and just saw that the last name began with an F. What did I say? I don't know what I said. How many people can be on the visitors list for Stephen? I don't know. Because again, numbers, I don't retain numbers. Because there's rules on how many can be on your list. There's rules how many people can visit you during the week and how many people can visit you on the weekend. But I don't recall what that is. Okay, Shelly's going to do research. And Miley just donated money to my PayPal. Thank you, Miley. I'll be, that $30 will go to Melissa again. And you just donated money when I went last week, Miley. But that $30 will go to Melissa. Jennifer says, so the ticket stand, sorry, just joined in. Yeah, because Josh Ranan is the one who did it, and I was on his property. So, but he only knows about it because Chuck and Earl. And now Miley just messaged me, but yes, I contacted, or I responded on here. I don't know if she's still on here, but thank you so much for donating, and I will give that money to Melissa. Maz says, what's a fluffernutter? Oh, a fluffernutter? Oh, that's the peanut butter, right? That's kind of, or no, that's not peanut butter. It's marshmallow. All right, down at the bottom. Been on for almost 2.5 hours. I'm really going to go now. So thank you, everybody that tuned in. Fuck all you spies that are on here that are just going to go now and tell more lies about me. I really don't care. again, Tracy got kicked because she talked shit about Kathleen to Steven, and Steven and Kathleen don't like it. It has nothing to do with me. I don't care if she's on there or not. And I will let you guys know when I am approved for Steven's visitors list and when I plan to go visit him. And if any of the cases, anything happens, we'll pop on here and put it out right away. No, Michelle, I'm not deleting this one. I'm leaving it on. And then something I didn't discuss, but I don't have the link for it. But if somebody wants to post a link for it, again, in Gossip, Rubber Ducky has a library with all this stuff that about the case. And since Skip Top is not current any longer on StephenAveryCase.org, I would much rather refer people to that library that is now current. And that I've also said that any of the documents that we pay for, and we still didn't post the freaking, moderators, if you're listening to me, we still haven't posted the exhibits, have we? From the last one that I got. Because see, I don't know how to do that. I get the email that has like the PDFs or whatever the frick it is, and I don't know how I can put it for you guys. So the moderators always have to do that because I don't know how to do it. So the Rubber Ducky team has full permission to, anytime we post documents that we've paid for, they can. It's not like anybody else can't take them anyway, because once it gets posted, it's out there. But I like that they were respecting and not wanting to just take stuff from us. And I've told them now, I've talked to the Rubber Ducky team, and it's like, yeah, anything we get, because they really are researching everything on this. And yes, there's a Rubber Ducky YouTube, and the Rubber Ducky YouTube is monetized. They do have ads. They are making money on the ads, but the money that comes in is going for the research that they're doing, and they're doing so much of it. I don't have a problem with that for a second, because the money is being used for good. It's not going to put new tires on Carla's truck. So there's a difference there. So Rubber Ducky, you're the one. So Rubber Ducky is somebody that we approve, and because also I was told that, Rubber Ducky does live videos and they didn't want to share them here because, I'm always bitching about all those idiots with their YouTube channels that are just trying to take money from supporters to like travel to Australia. No, go ahead and feel free to, when Rubber Ducky does a video, you can share it here in Gossip. And then if I or any of the moderators, when we approve that post, we'll also share it on Steven Avery Project, because again, Steven Avery Project should be used for good, and they're doing good work. So why wouldn't we put it out there for the 198, don't say 200, 198,000 people, if they want to go find Rubber Ducky and go watch those videos? Absolutely. So, and anything that you guys find, because you guys find articles and such before we do. So if you share articles here, if you notice it's not on Steven Avery Project, you can let us know, hey, this is something, you should post over there. And we will, because, I know some articles are just clickbait, and sometimes they only have 2 sentences that are of new stuff, but it's new stuff. So, but we want to use Steven Avery Project for good, to help Steven's case. So, but we won't let any of those people who are just using Steven to their own benefit write a book, and you're not sharing your profits with Steven. No, we're not promoting your book. Things like that. So, all right. Oh, Christopher Tapp. That's a sad story, but good story. Emily says, how does Rubber Ducky work? I joined Discord, but not sure how to use it. Like, do they get together and investigate stuff? Yeah, Emily, I was just brought onto that Discord the other day, actually. And again, not a technical person. So I'm like, so so they've got different rooms there, and they're investigating 24 hours a day because they have people from all around the world that are in Rubber Ducky. So, and Rubber Ducky is not one. They got many ducks on the pond. So it's a team effort for people and they all don't think the same thing. This person may think Teresa's still alive. This person may think Bobby did it. This person may think Ryan Hilgast did it, but they're all working together with the facts, not just going off of, well, this is what I think it is. No, what do the facts lead us to? So, they take all the drama and the bullshit out of it and are just looking at the case and the evidence. So, but don't ask me how the Discord works. I had only been on it the one day when I was in there. I chatted with them. I was on with them for quite a while. And things have been crazy hectic for me, so I haven't even been back on it. But I respect what they're doing and appreciate what they're doing. Okay, that's just my mom. Debbie says, I remember the last feed I watched of you was going to make a jar for every time you said I suggested it. I didn't, but I almost said it there. I was going to say it there too. I'm so bad with that. We should do that. That could be how I raffle off one of these books that have been sitting here. What just fell? Ooh, a quarter. Because I have an autographed copy of The Wrecking Crew, and I have an autographed copy of Buting's book. So maybe what we'll do is kind of like the squares that people do for football or whatever, Super Bowl and all that. And then what we can designate, so we'll have first the squares. I don't know if I guess we would sell the squares, right? And since these are Stephen books, we would sell the squares, $5 a square, right? So $5 a square, and then that money would go to Stephen's commissary. And then we do a live video, just like this, discussing whatever, and somebody will be tallying how many times I say and who's ever square gets that would get one of these books. How's that sound? You all would be doing the work for it. It would be, see, and people are going to say I'm going to be stealing, but I truly will take a screenshot of it and show you all. It could be $5. Do you want to do, what would be the best way to do that? $5 into my PayPal, and then I take that total and put it in his commissary, or you put the money in his commissary and show me the proof you put it there, and you get the square. But I don't want to draw up the squares and do that. I want somebody else to offer that they're going to run the squares of selling the squares and keeping a log of who's on what number square. So I'm being a good delegator. Somebody else do that. That could be fun. How many times will Jack say in a live, that we would schedule? Let me scroll. Cinnabar says Rubber Ducky also has Discord, a good place to chat. Yes. Shelly's asking, what is Discord? Who's messaging me now? That's still my mom. All right, Cinnabar is explaining to people about Discord. Other people talking about Discord. Shelly, I don't even understand Reddit. I made a Reddit account at one point just because people were talking shit, and then I had to go in there and fire at them. And then I also contacted their moderator or whatever it is and said, are you really gonna fucking let this be up here? And so then they did remove it. And so, but Reddit is an excellent place for getting information from too. They've got a lot of good people in Reddit, but you have to fall down the correct rabbit hole. There's one that used to be innocent and is now guilty, and then there's an innocent, I don't know. So, and I haven't been on Reddit in a while. But so all right, now I'm really going 2 hours 35 minutes. So I hope there's a hope everybody has a great weekend. Tomorrow here it is supposed to be gorgeous, so I'm actually going to unplug for a little bit. God, I hate that. I'll have my phone with me, but I won't be on Facebook or anything like that. I'm gonna go for a hike. I want to go outside, get some sun and some air, and enjoy this. So Sunday I've got a gala to go to. So that's my Sunday. But all right, I'm out. Again, as I was saying before, I went back into other things. Thank you all who are here and are active or not. I don't care if you're somebody who posts all the time. I get it of just wanting to just go read. So you're welcome here, and thank you for being here. The people who are here just to spy, go fuck yourself. And everybody else, have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.